Oh, Courtney.
Welcome to I'ma Let You Finish with your host, WAP and Ellen DeGeneres.
No, nobody wants to be that fucking nasty guy's mouth.
We're gonna get more to those two things later. It's I'ma Let You Finish in partnership with Listening Party Podcast.
We miss you. We miss Listening Party.
Back. We do. Oh God, we miss our studio. We miss seeing the cute guy that I think is cute. We miss Robert Smith.
Oh, he is cute. Robert Smith. Hey, you know.
I never thought I would miss Robert Smith.
But, you know, here's the thing I'm concerned about now that you bring that up. Mm-hmm. Where is he now? Where is he? He has no place to hang out.
Well, you know, listen, people like Robert Smith always he's probably doing a salon someplace and they're all hanging out someplace.
We do have to qualify that we do not mean the Robert Smith. Right. We don't actually know what the Robert Smith is doing. Nor
but I think people who listen to us know because Robert Smith has been a recurring theme since
He is. What if it turned out after all this
that it was actually really Robert Smith?
No, God, that he's the guy that owns Canal Street Market.
How fierce would that be?
How would it be? Except that I saw him at McNally Jackson one day, also hanging out.
That's the thing. That's such a New York thing.
It would be that he's secretly owned. Yeah.
That's what the thing about this town is you'll see somebody and think, there's that weird person again. There's that weird guy. And it turns out they're the gazillionaire that owns 20 blocks in the city.
Yeah.
And that's some weird shit.
That's the kind of rich. I remember years ago, I was dating somebody who was Beastie adjacent, Beastie Boy adjacent. And so Lucian would hang out with them. And one day Lucian says to me, Mom, I thought the Beastie Boys were rich. And I'm like, well, they are. I mean, you know, compared to ours. Yeah, but they are rich. He goes, well, they don't look rich. And he drives like a van. I went, that's why they're rich.
Right. The real key. And that's old school New York where you see somebody and you're like, I knew this dude who just always looked like t-shirt,
regular,
the same jeans, some old ass sneakers. And it turns out he was from such a wealthy family. But that's nouveau riche shit. People who think suddenly get money and it's like they're dripped with everything on their body. Like you see the wealth. People who've been wealthy their whole lives, a lot of them, especially old school New Yorkers, just look like regular people. They just
the Upper East Side money.
Right, and what it is you go to their house, you realize, oh, they live in a beautiful home, and it's really, it's appointed beautifully.
I want to marry the old man who will love me like a daughter.
Right.
Everything. I love you like the daughter I never had.
And you'll be like, hi, my name is...
Right. Or be his West Indian nurse.
Who suddenly gets everything in the will and the children are upset.
And then the children are upset.
And it's the children who never visit. But that's a whole other story.
Speaking of dripping, let's talk about WAP.
Well, no. Let's not start with that. We got to start. We have to start with the major shit. Let's start with the groundbreaking moment of last week. Let's talk about our girl that we love. Listen, and I do really dig her, Kamala Harris.
I like Kamala too.
When she was running for president, you know, first of all, I didn't love anybody who was really running for president this time.
Oh, I did.
I know you were a huge Warren fan. I know you were. For me, I think, I just wished, when I was listening to everybody talk, I'm like, you're not really talking about what Americans are really going through and what we really need, especially when we start talking about health issues. But anyway, I'm really happy for her because it's monumental. And I'm telling you, when that announcement was made, so many black women in my life, starting with my mother and a bunch of my female friends, just unsolicited called me out of the blue. And they were so excited. Yeah. And they were so happy. And I kind of felt something different. I was like, listen, when Obama was nominated, black people, young people, everybody was excited. But for black women, this just felt different in the conversation.
It's validation. It's recognition. It's a recognition. I mean, as a white woman, I was excited because this is the third time a woman has been on a national ticket. Right. But I couldn't take any Well, because I don't agree with her politically, but I couldn't take any pride in Sarah Palin. I took some degree of pride in Geraldine Ferraro, but it was a really long time ago, and I kind of don't even remember it, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it just seems like a lifetime ago. But I was just really... I really thought that whatever you think about Joe Biden, and I don't even want to get into it because I'm sick of having this fight with fucking people about it.
We're going to talk about that in this conversation because I have a view on that, yeah.
But whatever you think about him, this was a fucking balls to the wall, throw everything against the, I thought, good. She made the most sense, but I also was like, good. You're going to make people, there's no way you're going to avoid people's racism and sexism and misogyny, and it's all coming out now, but good, do it. Because she was the one that made the most sense on paper. She really did.
She did.
And
she checked a lot of the boxes for this country right now. You know what I mean? She's a child of immigrants.
Yeah.
One from India, one from Jamaica.
Right.
Growing up in the 50s and 60s in Oakland, going to Howard University.
No. She didn't grow up in the 50s. She's in her 50s.
Oh, is she only in her 50s?
She's like 54, 55.
You know what the thing of big age and numbers? Don't get me with numbers, honey.
No.
I was born in 1939, okay?
No, she's firmly a boomer. I mean,
gotcha.
She grew up in the 60s and 70s would be her cultural touchstones would be the 70s. She's Obama's age. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I never know anybody's age, Charlotte. Everybody looks the same to me. But I think that it's amazing, and I think she's ready. The one thing is, as a black person in America, we've been dealing with the slings and arrows of people's otherism forever. So trying to start this birther bullshit again, it's like she's a prosecutor and she's ready. She's been in politics. When you're black here or a person of color in America, I know a lot of, here's a little news flash to some of you people out there listening who think we're going to say you're not from here. We've heard that our whole lives. Try something new. It is not going to stop us. The train has left the station. I know your racist tropes, you guys are used to them working. They sound great on television for you guys, but it doesn't work in real life. And the train has left the station, and we are moving ahead, whether you like it or not.
Well, here, let me just speak to that for a second. First off, I'm furious at the reporter who asked that question because
which is insane, right? It's kind of like, really? She's in the Senate. Why are you asking that question?
Well, there was an article. It all started because there's an article in Newsweek by a lawyer who actually ran against her for AG in California, so he was biased. And nobody even knew that Newsweek was still being published, number one.
Right.
And I'm not saying that to be mean, but who the fuck reads Newsweek? So the reporter to ask that question was just the biggest softball in the entire world because you knew how he was going to answer it. Right. But in terms of like the otherism, I mean, obviously black and brown folks have it much more. But I will tell you that when we never had a Catholic president because a lot of Protestants thought that Catholics were only answered to the Pope and they couldn't be real Americans. And people think that Jews only answer to Israel, so they're not real Americans. We think that unless your fucking family came over on the Mayflower, you're still not a real American. So not a lot of people, less and less, but there's always this otherism. We just do it. And to be honest or whatever, black and brown and Jews and Italians and every ethnic group does it to each other too. We do it to other groups.
It's the divide and conquer, and that's what Trump did best, and that's why people need to pay attention because Trump can win again. What they have done in this country with him tossing all of those racist bones is all of the working class people of this country are fighting each other, and they're looking at each other like you don't belong. Meanwhile, the wealthiest 1%, all of these policy changes, they're sitting back making more money than ever. The corporations now pay less taxes, making more money, laying people off, keeping the profits. And I look at everyone and I'm like, so you're yelling at the guy over there who has the same or less than you, and we're all screaming at each other. And what sense does that make? We've otherized everything. Like the fact that wearing a mask has turned into a political debate when there is a respiratory illness killing people. I look at Americans sometimes and I'm like, who are we? Like, how did this happen?
It's happening worldwide, actually, because there was a huge demonstration in Spain yesterday against masks. So it is unfortunately happening worldwide. But I was going to say, jumping on what you said about the racist tropes, I honestly don't think it's the racist tropes. That's just for his 35% of hillbillies. I think if those are not, I don't think those work as well as people might think. I think
no, but it's just the sound, like what it is the sound bites of it all, right? But it is disgusting to keep putting that shit out there because he's playing to like this sliver group of people. But what you're starting to see is so many more people, even people that we all know, feel that way. I stay off of Facebook now, except for putting stuff on our Facebook page. Please follow us at ImmaLetYouFinish on Facebook. That's where I spend most of my time because when I go down my timeline, I see people I know and some of the shit that's coming out of their mouths, I'm just like, even when it comes to Kamala, and I'm like, wow. You know, black people, and from black and white people, and I've seen so many, there's some of our, I like to call them the Ivy League black set that we all know. And here comes all of the things about Kamala this, Kamala that. And I'm like, you know what, people, y'all are never happy. Take a page out of the Republicans' book, okay? They're like, look, that's our candidate. We may not like him, but we're voting for him. And I think people are looking at this election, especially Democrats, in the wrong way. Joe Biden is older. We know this. I believe he's a one-term president. But I also believe he's doing this to be a bridge. All of the things you want, younger candidates, a new Democratic sort of program that you want to try to roll out, is going to come. Not these next 4 years will be trying to fix all of the shit that's fucked up, but it's also to set up whoever is going to come after Joe. So I think people who are like, I don't like him, who are Democrats, look, you know what your choices are. Just like in 2016, there was no fantasy going to be something else. You need to look at Joe Biden as the bridge to the things you want. Start propping up these young candidates that you want that can step in and be like an Obama and come in these next 4 years and turn it out. What people really need to also be concentrating on are the Senate races and House of Representative races. It is important to keep the House, but it is really important to keep to flip the Senate because Trump could win again. But if the Democrats hold the Senate and the House, you will be able to curtail some of this shit. Like Ruth Bader Ginsburg is not going to be able to hold on for another 4 years. She's just not. So we already have a conservative leaning Supreme Court now. So folks need to take this seriously.
Yes. Well, I mean, not to, not to state the obvious. If people really did support him, he wouldn't have to cheat. If you have a really good basketball team, you don't have to cheat. And he's cheating.
Well, he cheated the first time around. They went to Russia's help.
No, but he's really cheating now. Let me tell you something. When my mailman, who I've known for a million years,
Let's talk about this. Yes.
I live in an apartment building, right? And I've known my mailman for a gazillion years. Lovely man. All right. So when they open up in an apartment building, they open up all the individual boxes, and sometimes I'll see my mail in my box and I'll go, hey, Warren, can I grab my mail? And he'll go, yeah, fine. Technically, that is against the law. I am not supposed to access my mail if other people's mail is there. But he trusts me, so he lets me do it. When another mailman is there and I'll say, hey, can I grab my mail? They'll go, no, that's against the law. Okay, so that's considered tampering with the mail. If I touch somebody, if I'm getting my own goddamn mail. So how is this not tampering with the mail, what Trump is doing? They are tampering with the mail.
Well, and voter suppression. We're literally...
that's tampering. That's how they're doing it.
I watch all of these people screaming about the Constitution, and meanwhile, where is that talk now? Because, well, we like him, so it's okay.
They only care about 2 amendments in the Constitution.
That's
they care
true.
about the first and the second, and they care more about the second than the first.
And you ask them what the other ones are. They know the 5th, but ask them what the other ones are. They can't even tell you what the other amendments are.
Oh, by the way, 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, women's right to vote this week.
Right. Nice.
Well,
white women's right to vote, because women of color did not get that right until years after. We need to make that distinction. That's really important.
But what I was going to say is that it's... Look, I mean, it's the thing with Trump. It's like it's like when you have this horrible, horrible partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, and they do one shitty thing, and you're like, oh my God, and then they do another shitty thing, and then finally you're just like, fine, whatever. You learn to accept it, and we're so beaten down right now that we can't even tell what's really wrong or what's really not wrong. Though I would say that the whole male thing, that really hurts. It hurts people outside of the big cities more than it hurts people in the cities. So this might be the proverbial straw that breaks the camel's back, because it really does.
No, it's hurting people in the cities because people in the cities are suddenly getting their medications late. They've been removing mailboxes in the big cities. I mean, how alarming is it? When in your lifetime have you ever seen a truck going around taking mailboxes off the street? Like, I've never seen that in my life. Right before an election, as the man keeps screaming, I don't want mail-in voting. I don't want mail-in voting. And the person that he's appointed to be Postmaster General is one of his donors. Like, the things that they have allowed, and then they scream the Constitution, is like, it's mind-boggling, the fuckery of it all. But guess what? We're not falling for it. And people, stay in the streets. Stay in the streets until November 3rd. And I'm telling you this, I don't care if I have to put on 5 hazmat suits. I will vote in person because I'm not going to fall for the fuckery of this mail-in ballot shit. And I'm telling anybody who wants to vote by mail-in ballot, get your ballot now and send that shit in immediately. Don't wait till the last minute. But I really would say for all of the states to have early voting, people get out there and vote early. And if you can, like caravan, take your neighbors, get in a car together and go to the polling places and vote in person, because we're already seeing the setup for trying to steal an election.
Oh yeah, again, the irony is that at the same time this is going on, there's people being arrested and there's rioting in the streets in Belarus, and we were the country that would go into other countries to monitor elections, and if this were going on.
People are being arrested and rioting in the streets in America now. We're not. Now it's the 4th or 5th or 6th story on the news, like what's happening in Portland and all of these places.
I'm talking about the election in Belarus. That's my point. But the point is that if this was behavior that people used to look at the United States to come into other countries and monitor to make sure they were free and safe elections. And the irony is now we are the country where other countries are probably going to have to come in and monitor if we have free or safe elections.
Well, you know what's really interesting? What we're seeing is other countries that have racist leaders and dictators are using Donald Trump as their model. So we went from being the country that people would look at as aspirational and I want to come here, as now we're seeing all of these far-right movements all through Europe, and Donald Trump is their god. They're looking at him like, yes, you have it right. So I just, it's a mess. Oh, and did you see, I just got a breaking alert while we were on the phone. The Trump administration announces plans for a new oil and gas program that clears the way for drilling in Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Reserve.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing is sacred with this dude. He doesn't care about your health. He doesn't care about anything.
Nope. I mean, it's like expecting my cat to do algebra. I no longer,
And before we get up this subject, I'm so tired of his otherism and birtherisms. And the First Lady of the United States currently was not born in the United States. And neither were her parents, who they used chain migration to get them their citizenship. The same thing that he says should not be allowed for other people. But that's it. We don't want to talk about it. We'll talk about all of this more closer to the election because it just gives me agita. Now let's go to your favorite person. What in the hell is going on with Ellen DeGeneres?
I have nothing to say about Ellen DeGeneres. I think she's marginally talented and always has been. No, I think it's very obvious from looking at her that she's a fucking vindictive cunt. Next. I mean, look at her. I mean, you can just tell that she's mean. I never watch her show, not because I'm so fabulous and snobby. I just never found her whatever. I mean, she's always just kind of given off this air of being sort of a bitch. And I mean, nothing surprises me in television. I think it's, she'll probably very gradually ease out. It happened during the summer, so that's good for her. I mean, I've always heard she's mean. I always heard Rosie O'Donnell was mean.
I've heard
James
whispers about her for years.
I've heard James Corden is not nice. I mean, I've heard, look, I don't, and I'm not saying this again that I'm so highfalutin. I just don't watch her, and I never have watched her. But the only person
Why do you think the implosion is happening now for her? Because it's coming thick and heavy. My favorite part of it is the celebrities like, she's always great to me. Kevin Hart. She's always great to me and my people and my family. I'm like, you're one of the most fucking famous men on the planet. Well, you don't work for her. You're not on that staff. Of course she's going to be nice to you. Of course she's going to be nice to your family. Of course she's going to be nice to your people. That's an extension of you. We're talking about people who are working in our office, and all of a sudden the paparazzi fake shots of them at lunch and all of these shots. It's like, I love this, the old school Hollywood. We'll have lunch on this terrace, and the paparazzi will get all these different shots of us. It's like, it's bullshit, and you're mean.
Well, I mean, I think that the reason that it's come up now is, first off, everybody's indoors. It's the summer, and she's not taping. And the second, I mean, the reason people like Kevin Hart is because she went to bat for him when he got accused of homophobia. So it's, tit for tat. That's what that's about.
Is that why?
Yeah, I mean, she backed him up, because then he could go, look, a gay person thinks I'm okay. So
and she's like, look, I got Kevin Hart, and we're all like, so what?
Yeah.
The people on your staff are like, shit's fucked up, so we don't give a fuck that you were nice to Kevin and his family.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's basically it. I mean, I think that it's summer, people are indoors, she's not on right now, so you can't actually do anything to her. You can't boycott because there's no show to boycott. I think she's just going to go away. I think she'll lose endorsements, and that's it.
She's not going away. That show's coming back in September. They've already said she is now going away. Here's the thing. Americans, they will go, I bet you her ratings for the first show are going to be through the roof because everybody's going to tune in to hear what she's going to say. Because now there's no way she could just come out and do some happy monologue and not have something to say.
Yeah.
No way.
Like I said, I've only seen her show when I'm in doctors' waiting rooms. And I'm not saying that to be like I'm so fucking elite or something. I just have never found her interesting. I really haven't.
I don't watch the show either, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not.
I did when it first came on. I have to say, the first years, I did tune in because it was fun. Remember, she used to dance, and she just seemed like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, well, I mean, and again, it's not because I don't like girls, women. It's not because...
I'm never going to live that down.
You will not. But I just don't find her interesting. I mean, it's just, I just don't find her interesting. So, good luck, Ellen. We'll be thinking thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
And I hope your WAP stays in good condition. And speaking of WAP, what do you think of everybody's faux shock at just how raunchy two women can be on a song? They're all so shocked.
I got to be really honest. I mean, I have never been someone who is super like yay about overtly sexual anything. I mean, it's not, it's not that I'm a prude, and it's not that I just have never been like, I don't need to see everything. I certainly never liked it with men because it was like, my fucking dick is popping through her head. It's like, I was like, that's the way to get a girl. I'm glad that you literally took a script, and I'm putting that in quotes, from Pornhub, and decided to make your entire, your screenplay around this. So, that has just never been appealing to me. And part of it, I guess, is because, having a kid and like having to censor stuff. And again, I'm not anti-sex. I'm not any of that stuff. I'm just saying that never found it appealing. I was a little bothered by Little Kim when she came out, even though it was fun. It's just not my thing. I think that this is, once again, much ado about nothing. I think, when you have CeeLo critiquing it, it's like you're a rapist, CeeLo, and you had your shirt off, which is way not attractive. I think what saves this, well, first off, it's just not that great a song, which is...
That's my only issue. My issue is, listen, I know it's not for me. I'm a 53-year-old man. They didn't make that record for me, and it's fine.
No, not at all.
I love a good raunchy record. I love it. Just make it fierce. I feel like Hoes in This House, you don't know how much... That is a club classic, and that song pumps. When that shit used to come on, it's like boom. So I just feel like I wanted some to that track. I wanted it to make me feel like, yeah, like get me, like make me want to grind to it. I just don't think it's a great song. I have no problem with raunch.
Yeah,
I love a good raunchy record.
Yeah, raunchy. Raunchy is different to me than sexually explicit. Does that make any sense? Like raunchy, I don't mind a double entendre and stuff like that. I just don't want to hear, I want to suck your dick. I mean, that to me is not interesting. It's like a dick pic is not interesting. The person behind the dick is interesting.
Not always.
Well, no, but I'm speaking from my perspective. I just think it's like, then it's just genitalia. Like, who fucking cares? It's the other stuff. But I think what saves the song, first off, it looks like they're just having a lot of fun. Right. Cardi always looks like she's in on the joke. Mm-hmm. Cardi always looks like she's got a little smile and that little look at the end of the video where they're sort of sneaking off and looking. So that to me is Cardi, and I guess Megan to some point too. It's like they're not all looking all serious and glaring at the camera. They're having a good time. So I find that part really, really, that's the saving grace to me. But that said, if I read one more think piece on
this, which is so stupid. It's so dumb.
It's like, come on,
I'm like, we have a history of nasty records from all of the male nasty records. Come on. I just wanted it to be better. But then again, it's not for my generation.
No, it's not for us at all. Yeah.
And the young generation, they seem to fucking love it.
Yeah.
You love it? So, I love it. Good for you.
Yeah, it's like, it's fun, whatever. I watched the video like once or twice. It's fun, cute. I like Cardi more as a person than I'm necessarily a fan of her music, which is fine. But Cardi to me is so interesting as a person because she's politically so progressive and so left wing, which I really like. And she is a rags to riches story. And I loved her on Love and Hip Hop. And she's just a smart cookie.
It's so funny. My mom asked me recently, why do people like this girl so much? And I explained it to her, and she was like, I completely get it. I said, it's an aspirational story to a lot of people. I said, a few years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago, this girl was a stripper. You know what I mean? And I said, isn't it everybody's dream? People make jokes about the stripper. Oh, she's going to school. She's going this. I said, but a lot of those girls are doing other stuff and they have a dream of something else. Yeah. And to be able to really make it and not shun it and be like, I did what I needed to do to survive and I ate and I did my stuff. And to get on, trying to make my music, and then you get on Love and Hip Hop, and so many people have been on Love and Hip Hop. What do we always talk about in that show? Everybody's in the studio. You hear a lot of people in the studio, but you don't ever hear a lot of records. But everybody's in the studio. And she was trying, and then to have Bodak Yellow just kind of blow up the way it was like the stars aligned, a little bit of fairy dust sprinkled down on her, and you didn't see a woman who suddenly tried to shun her past, change the way she talks. And I was like, and I said to my mom, I was like, more people speak like her than speak like proper, blah, blah, blah. So they look at her and they say, oh my God, it happened for her. And I think that keeps people's dreams alive, thinking it's never too late. It doesn't matter what my past is. It doesn't matter if my past is something where I took off my clothes. If I work really hard, and there is a chance that I can make my dream come true. And that's aspirational.
Yeah, well, I would prefer women not have to be strippers to be
absolutely,
aspirational.
but that's two different things. See, I think when people say stuff like that, then it almost diminishes that part a little, and I think that's the reason why it's aspirational. There are some people who want to be strippers. I don't think that's most people's first choice, right? So I think that's why it's aspirational, because she got out and she did something else and she followed her dreams and they came true.
Yeah, and I think it boils down with her. She seems like a good person. The only times I had issues with her is when she went back with her husband, but that's her decision. You look at her and you look at Nicki Minaj, who I guess was her closest counterpart. Nicki does not seem like a nice person. Nicki does not. I mean, Nicki is talented, but Nicki does not seem like a nice person. It's the conversation we always have about, Madonna and somebody else. At some point, someone is going to look at you and go, you know, and it's something that even, it boils down into politics, you know, would I want to have a beer with them type of stuff.
And you know, it was funny that you said nice because, you know, I posted on our Instagram, and follow us on Instagram if you're not at ImmaLetYouFinish NY, something that Mariah said, and she said, we don't always have to be the nicest person in the room. Now, what that means is, in your business, because sometimes when you're in business, being nice can get you trampled. So you have to be really strong, and you have to really fight for your point. But that doesn't mean not be a nice person. There's a time when you have to turn on being full business cunt. That's male or women. So I'm not saying that as a woman as a cunt. You know what I mean? You have to be, especially in entertainment. Entertainment, man, listen, it will roll you over. But that does not mean you need to walk around being a shitty, rude person. And let me just, honey, listen, I'm not going to name names because I'm not that shady bitch. But so many people would be surprised by the amount of people that they love who sell love and happiness and empowerment who are not nice people in real life. That they can turn that switch on and they give you that, and that's how they make their money, and that switch turns off when the camera's not rolling, and you're like, oh my God, you're really fucking horrible. You're a horrible, horrible person. So I don't think you always have to be nice, but I think you should be a good person and a decent person. Nice in business doesn't always work, but I think in your real life and dealing with people, it's okay to be decent and a nice person.
I think that's only a question though that women have to address. No one cares if a man. I honestly don't think that.
No, it's the truth. But the problem is, and a lot of times for women in this industry, you got men making these decisions for them. So if you sit around and go on to get on, you'll find yourself in a lot of positions that you don't want to be in. Sometimes, like I've had to watch. Listen, the one thing I will give Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter is she's still a nice person, but she's a really strong businesswoman, and you're not going to back her into the corner, and she's not going to sit in the room and just be nice to get along, to get on. She's going to say her thought and do her shit. But when that meeting is over, she's the nicest person you could ever meet.
Yeah, so
you got to be tough. And I think a lot of times with women, they get scared to be that. And it's like, no, step up. This is a business, and you're a businesswoman. And I always tell that to young artists. I'm like, understand this is a business, and don't let anybody make you feel uncomfortable in a way. Don't let anybody make you feel over-sexualized. Don't make anybody make you feel like you have to do some shit that you really don't want to do. Like, you can stand up and say no. You don't have to be the nice one in the room and be like, well, okay, I guess that's right.
Well, women are, I mean, this goes back, I mean, you know, women are conditioned to not be aggressive because we're told if you're aggressive, you're ambitious, and, you know, women are trained ultimately to not supersede the men in their lives. Right. So it's going to translate into, you know, it's going to translate, the worst thing a woman can be if she's in a relationship is smarter than the guy that she's with.
Right.
So women, you know, I think that we're not so much nice. I think it's being even-handed. But it is. I mean, the first question I used to always get asked when I would do interviews, I mean, when I would leave, people go, what are they like? Are they nice? People just want to know that someone's nice, you know? Are they a good person? Are they a good person? Did you know, when I interviewed Amy Winehouse, everybody expected she was going to be a raging bitch, and she's not. She was not. She was actually quite nice in her own way, you know, but, I mean, damaged.
It's so funny now that you just said that, because I never really thought about it, but the number one question people used to ask me about B is she nice? Is she nice? What's she like as a person? What's she like, you know? And so I think they almost felt like when she came in the room, she was like floating on a gold sort of shade with me carrying her around. Well, that's because there's so many people who are not nice. And it's so obvious. Nice. She's such a nice person. And she's the same person that I met 20 million years ago. She's wiser and she's smarter. But she's still funny. And listen, she likes a good joke and a good kiki. She's kind. She really is a kind person. No, it helps. I mean, it's one of my new things that give me hope is I follow Debbie Mazur and her husband on Instagram. She's another nice person. She's a really nice person. I mean, you can tell. It's so funny to see and Madonna are best friends because it's the total opposite. Debbie is such a nice person and she's a Leo. And then you have Madonna.
Yeah, no, it's just, it's just sort of fun. Yeah, I mean, basically, it always helps to be a good person, basically.
Yeah.
More than nice, it helps to be a good person and
Yeah.
have a moral compass. It will not hurt you in the end to be a good person, no matter what field you're in. But women are under, and especially, black and brown women are under this pressure to not be too aggressive. And I've had the same situation myself where people have asked me, how much do you charge for something? And I'm like, I don't know if I want to ask that because maybe they'll think I'm being too pushy. And then I hear about a
I
guy.
hate that you guys have to have that whole dialogue in your head.
And then a guy doing the same goddamn thing. And I'm like, wait a minute. How
Right.
come he got to get that much money?
Because he wasn't afraid to ask for it.
That's my fault. That's why whenever people say Jews are good with money, I say, some of us didn't get the class. Some of us were napping when they had the Jews with money class. And I'm like, really? You just pay me what you think I'm worth. I'm terrible with
you
this
need to be able to go in there and say, I want this.
Yeah, I know.
And know your worth in it.
I know. It'll happen eventually. When I have to move
this younger generation of women, they're honey, they're business. I love seeing. My sister's a businesswoman. I love seeing this younger generation of women who are like knowing their worth, going out there making that money, and they're not letting people do things like, what are the words? When they announced Kamala, my first thing I said to my friend was, how long is it going to be before somebody calls her angry and aggressive? Well, it took 20 minutes. It was only 20 minutes before I was like, she's angry. I'm like, wow, 20 minutes before that came up. So of course, it's like Trump was like, well, when she lost, in the primaries, she was really angry. It's like, no, how about she was disappointed? Most people, when they lose something, are disappointed. But of course, she's angry.
Yeah, well, welcome to the world of being a woman,
Right.
Welcome.
It's so difficult for us. I know.
Yeah, welcome to this is just, it's not going to go away. It really isn't. It's
but
not
this younger generation of women are changing the narrative because...
you would be surprised. I'm very... You're right.
Let me just tell you something. I'm never going to be that cynical because I'm always going to say, I see these girls fighting the good fight and I stand with them because they are not going to sit back and just let somebody roll them the same way. They don't.
All right.
These don't. And I know I'm looking at a bunch of the women in my life that I know now. Like, I know a bunch of women who are in really powerful positions that make more than their spouses. You know what I mean? And they're doing their thing. And I'm really proud of that, And not following the same old tropes of, I shouldn't want more. I shouldn't be aggressive and go after the things that I want to go after. They're like, I'm going for it. And I think that's dope.
I agree with you, but I'm just saying I wish those women, and it's a lesson, I wish those women would then identify and realize that they are feminists and support other women. A lot of them don't. That's what I'm going to say.
I want to ask you, because you're a woman.
I am.
What is that? What is that with women?
Because we're told... well, first off, I think it's over exaggerated. To be honest with you, I think because we're told, we're conditioned, we're groomed to some extent to find someone, and men are, not all men, obviously, and not all women. I'm very grateful that I was raised by parents who told me I could do whatever I wanted to do,
right.
And to not let anybody, tell me I couldn't do something. But women are conditioned. We take somebody's name when we get married. How fucking ridiculous is that? We take someone's name up until maybe 50 years ago when you got married, it was man and wife. So I became a wife. The woman becomes a wife, but you stay a man. So
Did you take your husband's name?
No.
Okay, well, see, then there you go. You did it. So
no, but a lot of women. But that doesn't mean just because and most women don't anymore. But that's also because first off, it wasn't that if my name was like Amy John Jingleheimer Schmitz, I would have changed it. But it's not. Lyndon is a perfect, and also I'd been published at that point, so I wasn't going to change my name.
Well, but that's smart. And you got married a gazillion years ago. So I feel like you're a walking example of how to be strong and be like, I have an identity.
No, I'm saying, and it's not that
that's important.
No, most women I know do not. Actually, funnily enough, the only document you will see my married name on is, it's so funny, is my son's birth certificate, because I swear to God, in the back of my mind as I was signing this, and I'm not even lying, I thought, okay, use his last name, because if you ever have to file for child support, you can prove you're married. That's what I was thinking.
Wait, at the moment after your child was born.
Well, I mean, I recuperated for a minute, obviously.
Right. But when they're like, here's the birth certificate.
Here's the birth certificate, fill it out. I was like, yeah. No, it's not even like my name, it's not even my first name, my quote unquote maiden name, and my then husband's name. It's just Amy, and I was like, that is the reason. It's the only document I have. Only document I have with that name on it. And in fact, when you're married, you have to when you get divorced, you have to petition to get your maiden name back, which is crazy.
But so many of my female friends who got divorced have gone back to their maiden names.
I mean, I just never, and a lot of women don't. But what I was saying, to answer your question, the point is that I think that a lot of, I mean, God, you want to go back to the Bible, you want to go back to caveman. We're conditioned, less and less so, but we are conditioned to just sort of take a back seat to some extent, and the fact that we have never had a woman president just says all you need to know. And the fact that it's such a big deal that a woman is in power is crazy, so that's what it is. I mean, it sucks, man. It sucks.
Well, I have a question for you, because I have a lot of friends who are teachers, and you're a teacher and a professor. How do you feel about...
Professor just means, as soon as you step into a college class and you get called professor, I'm like, look at me, I'm a professor. It means nothing. But anyway. Yes.
How do you feel about returning to in-person teaching this fall?
I'm not doing it. That's how I feel.
I thought you said it one
day a week. Yeah, at one school. All right. Well, I teach at two schools. One's a huge school. One's a small school. At the small school, I will be going in one day a week under very controlled, like the equivalent of the NBA bubble, but with teaching. And I'll be fine. And I don't think it's going to be an issue because it's super controlled. I will be around as many people as I would be in Trader Joe's on a given day. So it's not going to be bad. At the other school, it's going to be all online, and it sucks because part of my talent as an educator is my ability to just
charm the room.
Charm them. And they look at me and they go, "Yo, Professor, where'd you get those sneakers? See, if they can't see what I'm wearing." And I'm just like, all my festive wardrobe, I'm not going to be able to rock that. So I am very excited.
Yeah, but it's going to be on Zoom, right? They will
No. But the point is that I haven't worn lipstick except for once in like 4 months, 5 months. So yeah, I mean, the at-home stuff sucks because I'm just saying there is something sort of fun about getting dressed up to go to work, I have to say.
My underwear drawer has been full and almost barely untouched for 3 years.
But I think that most of the school, I think New York City, I think it's going to open up in New York City, and within a month it's going to shut down. Right. I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to open up, and we do have the positivity rates to support it, but we don't have the infrastructure to support it, So I think it's going to open up, and by November they're going to shut down, and then it's going to be back to the races again. So,
have you been watching any of the NBA basketball?
No, I'm an idiot. I didn't even know it was happening.
Well, it starts today because the playoffs start today, and the
Brooklyn Nets, That was fast.
The Brooklyn Nets play the Toronto Raptors at 1 o'clock.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it starts at 1 o'clock. Let me just say, it's been a lot. I have to tell you,
they did an excellent job. They did an excellent job controlling this.
Absolutely, and it's been a lot more. It's been really competitive, like the games, like you expect them to be. First I thought it's gonna be weird without the crowd. These dudes been playing their asses off. It's been real. Dame Lillard
I've heard he's been doing
phenomenal.
Great. Yeah. No, you know what it is? It's like there was no sports for so long that when I would channel surf and I'd see sports, I go, oh, it must be a repeat, I was like, what are they doing? No, but that NBA bubble thing should be, I mean, granted, they have more money than God and they can control things, but that is an excellent, I mean, really.
Hockey did it too. They're bubble. They're in Toronto. Yeah, they're in Canada.
No, it's really, really smart. Unfortunately, you can't do that with baseball. You can't do that with football or soccer.
And we see what's been happening with baseball. Like every other day, there's like different teams.
I think that's a wash. I think baseball's a wash at this point.
They haven't canceled the season yet. They're still going, so we shall see. Well, it's a wash for the Mets because, of course, as usual, they just keep losing and they're in last place.
Yeah,
so there's that. And go Islanders! Go Islanders! The Islanders are in the Stanley Cup playoffs right now, and
you're rooting for the Islanders.
Listen, I root for every New York team because I know it's not going to be the Jets. I know it's not going to be the Giants. Like the Knicks weren't even invited. They were like, "You're so bad, you're not even invited to the bubble."
I know, really. The Knicks are like, "You need to stand outside the bubble and wear a mask." Oh, you have COVID? Who could tell?
Right. They're like the Knicks. They're like, we don't like. Yeah, okay, hi.
It's so embarrassing. So embarrassing. It's like literally, it's like we want you to die. Stand outside the bubble and wave. You can wave us through the bubble. Oh my God, that's fucking hilarious.
Have you been going outside the house more? What's going on?
I mean, this is going to be our way of life. I mean, honestly, the main thing that keeps me from going out a lot, well, there's nowhere to go, but, is because the mask my face gets so sweaty that I'm just like, I can't even deal with this fucking mask. I'd rather sit at home. I do not feel lonely particularly. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I don't feel like I'm missing anything because there's nothing to miss.
You and your neighbors on your...
but I was going to say...
Okay, this is what you don't understand, guys who are listening to. So Amy lives in... I have an outdoor space. She lives in a penthouse that she bought years ago in Fort Greene. And she's got a fabulous outdoor space.
I said that. That saved my life. I mean, that has saved my life. But what's nice is that the museums are opening up next week in New York. And that'll be fun. And like this week...
And it's 25% capacity, which is great. You can actually really teach it.
See stuff. And what's really nice is like the Brooklyn Botanic Gardens opened up last week, and I have like a time ticket to go on Friday because they do like a soundscape now at certain hours. So that'll be cool. I mean, it's just the freedom to go someplace other than like the supermarket. But I am a lot less freaked out than I was. Yeah,
So for me, it's just been like I've been playing a lot of just digging through albums that I love and a lot of different live albums because, the part about music that I love the best is really going to a show. And like, we're just not in New York. We're not going to be able to go to a show for a while. So I've been like rediscovering shit like Donny Hathaway's 1970s live album where one side A was recorded live at the Troubadour in LA and side B was recorded at the bitter end. And it's just so good. And it just brings me that vibe of being at a concert. And then like I was having a little disco moment. I pulled out Sylvester's double album, Living Proof, the one live when he played at the San Francisco Memorial Opera House, and just finding my life. And then I started rediscovering really albums that I love that weren't the biggest hits, but just remind me of summer. Katie Lang has this great album called Invincible Summer, which was not one of her bigger hit albums.
Yeah, I've never heard of that actually.
It's so beautiful, and it's like it's basically a love note to the summer, and it's about.
She's nice, by the way. Katie Lang is a nice person.
Really nice
I just want to throw that in there.
Falling in love in the summer, and it's just she's got great songs like Consequences of Falling in Love. I'm going to send you that album, and it's very like bossa nova-ish, and it's perfect for the dog days of summer and just chilling and having a glass of wine. It's good stuff. Good.
Yeah, no, she's nice, Katie Lang. She's very nice. I just thought I'd mention that not all, it's just like she is very nice. What I miss about the summer, I like going to concerts too. I don't go to a ton anymore because I don't get in for free. And they're expensive. I can't afford
when
to
you
go.
call the right people, you could. You guys, you get shit when you call the right people.
They don't do ticket buys the way they used to. They used to do like massive ticket buys. But the point is that what I do miss and what New York in the summer is what's great in the summer in the United States, but particularly in the big cities, is the international acts coming over. So you would have, you go to the park and you'd see, the first time I ever saw Yusu was in a park, and you'd see Salif Keita, and you'd see all these amazing acts. So that there's something to me I associate summer in New York with the live music, but especially the international acts, but the acts from Latin America, the acts from Africa, because I guess that's their best time to tour. But there was just something very intrinsically, and I really miss going to BAM a lot, Brooklyn Academy of Music. Their season is shut down for the fall.
Wow.
It's just that sense. So I think that's part of the reason why I haven't had the level of panic I thought I would have, because it's just, you can't, it's not like we're living someplace and everybody else is getting to do something and we can't. The people who are doing something, it's gotten to the point now where we look at people who are going out and going to concerts like as idiots. They're like, look at them. They're all smoking cigarettes and they're bad people. So you know what I mean? It's like become like being that much in a group is looked down now upon. Anyway, so it has not been bothering me as much, but I do definitely associate summertime with concerts, with outdoor concerts, with free concerts. So that has been definitely a downside for sure.
Yeah, definitely a downside. Like the other day, I was just, Storm and Norman, who does this party in Harlem called Sunday Sermon. And it's such a great party where we dance, and it's across the street from my house. It used to be in Morningside Park, but now it happens in St. Nick Park, and that, it hasn't happened. And, it's just, we would go and just sit on the grass and hear some house music, and everybody in Harlem would be there. We'd have our picnics, and it was so communal, and I miss the community. That's what I miss the most. Just having that moment, because music does that, right? We'd all be together in the summer and laughing, and it just feels so good. And, music is that thing that music makes the people come together. You know what I mean? It's definitely that. I miss that. And, we're not going to have that until summer 2021,
If.
Right.
If.
And Amy and I were supposed to fucking go see the Pet Shop Boys in September.
Well, we hadn't secured. All right, to be fair, we had a verbal. I had a verbal agreement or text agreement from the publicist that she would definitely keep me in mind for tickets.
But
so we didn't have tickets in hand, but in my mind we did.
Kind of did, because I also have a friend who deals with tickets and shit, and he was like, "I'll make sure you have 2 tickets to pass up."
Yeah, now I'm really upset about that.
So we had tickets,
and I would have wanted to see the Harry Styles tour too.
No, I wouldn't have wanted to see that. But
no, but he's really. Have you ever seen his live when he does performances? He has a really good band. He's really good live.
No, I'm just not into him. I don't play his records. I think he makes decent records, but I'm not into it. And I just could see me in there with the 500,000 screaming girls, really ready to pull my hair out.
I love him. I think he's getting actually a much more diverse. I mean, definitely the girls. But
Watermelon Sugar is like the #1 song in America right now. I think it's finally made it to the top of the Hot 100.
You know why? Because watermelon is the #1 fruit, in my humble opinion. That's what I associate with summer. This was the thing. Okay. What I was nervous about in terms of the pandemic, of the million things, I love watermelon. I can eat like a watermelon in 4 days. I cut my watermelon up. I put salt on it. I'm very, very happy with my watermelon. And I was like, oh God, what if I can't get watermelon? Because it's super, but I have watermelon now. And if I have watermelon, I'm happy. It's true. It's sad, but true. I like watermelon with salt. There I go. I like big butts, and I cannot lie. And I like watermelon and salt. That's it.
All right, kids. Well, it's been a long day, and I need to get back to listening to my Minnie Riperton Adventures in Paradise album, because I just feel like it's a Monday. The sun is out after a rainy, shitty day yesterday. You're alive and healthy. I'm alive and healthy.
Yes,
I finally got a doctor's appointment to get my annual checkups and stuff because my doctor's only doing telehealth and stuff. So she's in the office like one day a month or some shit, and tomorrow's it.
Oh, good. Yeah.
You know. So we just kind of keep moving, kids. We love you. Thank you for listening to us. You know, we ramble, we talk, we miss our studio. We want make sure you keep in touch with us, all right? We are on Facebook all the time. We're on Twitter all the time. Follow us on Twitter at Finish Ima. Amy controls our Twitter. I chime in there. She's amazing. You'll laugh. You'll cry. It's better than Cats the movie. Follow us.
God, everything is better than Cats. I mean, let's set the bar a little higher than that, please. You know. It's better than Showgirls.
Oh, you know I love Showgirls.
I said it.
The bar is so low, I just saw it roll past me down Edgecombe Avenue. Follow us on Facebook at ImmaLetYouFinish. Follow us at listeningpartypresents.co. Follow Listening Party Podcast on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. Keep following us here. Thank you for your support. You know, this show is a year old. We can't believe we made it a year. We're just like, are you fucking kidding? We made it a year with this shit. It's like too many things. But we love you guys. And listen, take care of yourselves. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Try to keep safe. And most importantly, stay well informed. And it is really important that you vote in this election. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for because I don't believe I should tell people who to vote for.
I will. I'll tell you who to vote for. I'll tell you who to vote for. Do not vote for Donald Trump.
Well, I will tell you who. Right. Don't vote for Donald Trump. But I want you guys to really pay attention to these lower office races because that's making the difference in your communities. So you need to vote for when those city council races come up because those people are really important with the zoning and the money and how it's all distributed in your community. And we still hate Bill de Blasio, and we love you. And we'll see you next month. Deuces. Bye.
It's NFL draft season, and that means it's time to start thinking about fantasy football. FantasyPoints.com features industry-leading experts and prognosticators using proprietary hand-charted data to help you score more fantasy points. FantasyPoints.com is the place to go for whatever kind of fantasy football you play. Whether you play fantasy football, daily fantasy sports, or do a little bit of everything, Fantasy Points has the meticulously researched content to guide you to victory. And why wait for the fall? Fantasy Points also covers the new spring football league, the UFL. Join the guru, John Hansen, Scott Barrett, Joe Dolan, and other massive names in the fantasy football universe with an exclusive offer. Use code Pantheon for 15% off any Fantasy Points package, including the all-in package with access to every article, tool, and data nugget that Fantasy Points has to offer. That's FantasyPoints.com and code Pantheon for 15% off at Fantasy Points. FantasyPoints.com, code Pantheon. Score more fantasy points.